This is the continuation of the last video. In our last video, we have calculated the lowest order relativistic correction, which is HR prime equals minus p power 4p is the momentum operator, and 8m cube c square c is the speed of light. In this video, we will calculate the correction to the Bohr energies. For this purpose, we are using non-degenerate theory, and the energy correction is first order correction. So HR prime is sandwiched in between the size, where size are the unperturbed state, and p power 4 over minus 8 m cube c square is the over perturbation. Why we are using the non-degenerate theory, in spite of the fact that the hydrogen atom is highly degenerate. We will discuss the answer of this question in detail at the end of the video. For the moment, the perturbation is very charismatic that allows us to use the non-degenerate perturbation theory. We know that the momentum is Hermitian operator that enables us to write this equation into this form. And as I said that psi are the unperturbed states, and the Schrödinger equation for unperturbed E is equal to P square by 2m, which is the kinetic energy, plus V, which is the potential energy. We rearrange a bit of this equation that allows us to write P square equals to 2m into E minus V. If we apply the P square operator on psi, we will get 2m into E minus V with psi. So just plug this expression into this equation. So we will get 2m into E minus V, 2m into E minus V with size, and the compressed form of this expression is E minus V power square, and the little bit of simplification. After a bit of simplification, we will get this one. So here is minus 1 over 2 m c square, expectation value of E minus V whole square. And if you open up the square, you will get E square minus 2EV plus V square. As you know, the E is just a number, is a total energy, and expectation value of E square will also E square, and the expectation value of E will also E. So this is the general expression. It is totally general expression. I did not specify any potential so far. So now we specify the potential, and um, um, what type of potential is that? It is a Coulombic potential because we are interested in the hydrogen atom. Energy is equal to minus 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught E square over R. So plug this potential into this general equation will be look like this: En square plus 2En E square over 4 pi epsilon naught, and expectation value of 1 over R, and expectation value of 1 over R square. From now on, our goal is to calculate the expectation value of 1 over R and expectation value of 1 over R square. Note that En are the Bohr energy of state in question, and to calculate the 1 over R, we use three-dimensional Wirral theorem. I will show you the calculation of 1 over R, and just quote the and we'll just quote the result of 1 over R square. So here potential is V is equal to minus V square over 4 pi epsilon naught 1 over R. Del is just the partial derivative with respect to R, E square over 4 pi epsilon naught 1 over R square into R cap, and the dot product of R and delta V will give minus V. So plug this result into this expression to expectation value of T equals to minus V. As we know that the total energy equals to the expectation value of potential energy and expectation value of kinetic energy. Now put the value of expectation value of V from this expression will give us En Bohr energy equals to minus expectation value of T. So if you use En equals to minus Et in total energy expression, which is this, will lead us to expectation value of V equals to 2 bar into En. So expectation value of V, we can calculate the expectation value of V in if we have the Bohr energy expression. So for hydrogen atom, we have potential V equals to minus E square over 4 pi epsilon naught 1 over R, and this is the Bohr energies. We know that from the fourth chapter. Now just plug in these two results into the above this expression. E square or 4 pi epsilon naught are the constant. Here is 1 over R, R is the variable. So little bit of rearrangement of this equation will give 1 over R expectation value equals m E square or 4 pi epsilon naught h square 1 over n square. So what is this which I have shown in the brackets, m E square or 4 pi epsilon naught h square? It is basically 1 over A, and A is our fine structure constant. Here I just code the results of 1 over R square expectation value, which is this L plus 1 over 2 into n cube A square. You can find this calculation into the problem 6.33 from Griffith. We need these two expression to put into the first order correction. Now this is the first order correction, and here we have 1 over R expectation value. I put 1 over A n square, and here we have 1 over R square, and I use 1 over L plus 1 over 2 n cube A square. So by using the value of A, this is the value of 1 over A, you will be able to write this simplification of this long expression will give us ER 1 equals to minus En square. En is the Bohr energy, as I said earlier, 2mc square into this one. N is the principal quantum number. So relativistic correction, if we plug the numbers m and c, you will see the relativistic correction is smaller than En by the order of 10 to the power minus 4. So this is the evidence why we have used the relativistic correction as a perturbation, because this is its magnitude uh, is very small as compared to the Bohr energies. So again, back to the question that we have mentioned earlier, that why we are using the non-degenerate theory, even though the hydrogen is highly degenerate. So I mentioned earlier that perturbation is spherically symmetric and commutes with L square and into Lz. What is mean by that? If you apply p square p power 4, which is a perturbation, with the rotation operator on, let's say, eigenstate or momentum operator, you will see that these two operators, rotation operator R and perturbation, which is p power 4, will commute. So that allows us to use the eigenstate of these two operators. So the eigenfunction of L square Lz are, or the distinct have distinct eigenvalues for the n square states with a given value n. So the for given value of n, the same energy, we have the n square states, and we can distinguish n square squares by using the distinct eigenvalues of eigenfunction of L square and Lz. So here we have n, L, and m are the quantum numbers, and for the principal quantum number L and m come from these two operators, n, L, and m are the good states, good quantum numbers for this problem. So in other words, we are using the theorem which is mentioned in the Griffith. Theorem says that if you are faced with the degenerate states, in our case, our system is highly degenerate because of hydrogen is highly degenerate atom. So what we do, look around for some Hermitian operator A. In this case, our Hermitian operator consists of L square and with Lz. This is our Hermitian operator that commutes with H naught and H prime. So H Lz and L square and Lz both commute with H naught and H prime. So the first condition is fulfilled. Or pick as your unperturbed one that are simultaneously eigenfunction of H naught and A. So if we pick the simultaneously eigenfunction of H naught and A, then we will be able to use the no degenerate perturbation theory. So what are the eigenfunction of H naught and L square and Lz, which is A? These are the eigenfunction of H naught and L square and Lz. That's how we use the non-degenerate perturbation theory to calculate the relativistic first order correction to the Bohr energies. In the next video, we will start discussing the spin orbit coupling.